This is Bless Radio. It's Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. UK time. And this is the Spiritual Discussion Program. I'm Saad in Southeast London. And as usual, joining me is Gregory. Gregory, how are you? And how's the weather where you are?
Well, it's getting cold, but otherwise it's beautiful.
Okay, yes, same here in London. It is definitely getting colder now. I think they said it was 19 or 18 degrees earlier, which was fine. But right now, it definitely it feels much colder now. And it's overcast. So welcome listeners to the Spiritual Discussion Program. The aim of this show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdrushin. And we have a new topic every week. The topic tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. Incarnation and Rebirth. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 07939 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. I'm going to begin with what is the Grail message? The Grail message in the light of truth by Abdrushin is a spiritual knowledge of life. It offers an explanation of the world, a picture of creation on the basis of natural laws. Its lectures contain valuable basic elements as a help in life, for through the knowledge mediated, the readers again brought closer to life and led back to God. The Grail message deals with important fundamental questions of life by explaining in a clear and logical way the automatic working of the laws of nature, the whole weaving of creation, allowing every process to be recognized and thereby the purpose of our whole life. It is directed at the individual and speaks to the innate experiences of the human being, their strengths and weaknesses. Thus, every reader has the opportunity to discover through the intuitive perception if what is stated is the truth. Combining with matter-of-fact reasoning, a complete world picture arises, where there is no separation between the visible world and the great world beyond the five senses, nor any separation between scientific and religious striving for knowledge. I'd like to give you a couple of quotes from the author of the Grail message, Abdrushin. The hearer and reader of my lectures should always work within himself, keenly probing and building bridges from one lecture to the other, as well as out into the great and small world happenings. Only then will he be able to understand the Grail message and find that it gradually shapes itself into one complete whole without leaving any gaps. Again and again in all the happenings, the reader will come back to the basic features. He can explain everything without having to change even one single sentence. The word of the Grail message lives, so that it permits only those people who really carry the honest desire in their souls to find abundantly. All else is automatically rejected by it. For the arrogant and those who seek superficially, the message will remain the book with 7 seals. And I'd like to give you one more quote from the author. I wish to fill the gaps which have so far always remained unanswered in the souls of men, and which never leave any serious thinker in peace, if he earnestly seeks for the truth. So, listeners, just to remind you, the topic we're discussing tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. Incarnation and Rebirth. You are welcome to join us with any questions or comments. The number to contact us on our UK number is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. Listeners, just to let's say just reflect on the news in the world that has been happening, which is Queen Elizabeth's passing, and now yesterday was her funeral, and many thousands paid the respect, maybe even millions we could say, for her long service at her funeral. And they wanted to thank her for her incredible sacrifice for her people, and now wishing her well to rejoin her late husband in the next world. Hardly anyone really knows what the next world is, or even if it really exists. Most people speak from tradition and habit. But what really happens after death? So the topic tonight, listeners, we've called it Incarnation and Rebirth. It's not directly about death as such, but it's all connected. So we will be exploring these issues, what people's beliefs are or thinking is, and you could say, what is the reality? Now, Gregory, as you know, I always like to look in the dictionary for the meaning of the words in the title of our topic. And tonight the topic is Incarnation and Rebirth. So the first word there is incarnation. In the dictionary, it says here, incarnation, the act of incarnating, the state of being incarnate, a particular physical form or state. And there's several meanings actually. I just want to go through them all actually. So a particular physical form or state. In another incarnation, this is an example of that. In another incarnation, he might be the first vice president. I'm going to carry on. A concrete or actual form of a quality or concept, especially a person showing a trait or typical character to a marked degree. She is the incarnation of goodness. Gregory, I'm just going to stop there. I've got more to, a couple more actually to continue with, but these are ways we use the word incarnation, Gregory. The state of act of incarnating was the first one, and then a particular state, physical form, and another one was a quality, actual form of quality or concept. Now, for the discussion tonight, Gregory, are these meanings that so far that I've given helpful in any way for our discussion?
Well,
Sorry, Gregory, your voice is a bit, how can I say, a little bit hazy. If you can just speak louder.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better now.
I said, thanks for the questions. When that condition,
Oh, sorry, Gregory. Your voice is going in and out as well. So it's up and down, and it's also in and out. So if you can just, I know you said thank you, but I lost the rest of it.
well, I'm just thinking what I should do to.
Okay, it's getting better now. It's a bit of a flow. There's a flow now. So, yeah. So carry on now.
With the expression incarnation, first, it is good to know what does not apply.
Oh dear, it's again happening, Gregory. Something's not coming through. It's like you speak a few words and it goes silent.
Let me use my earphones.
Yes. Just try something different. Apologies, listeners, for that. Sometimes we get a little technical issue. So.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Is it clear at all?
Yes, it is clear. Please start from the beginning, as you were saying.
Yeah. Like I said, the expression incarnation, one has to consider what it does not apply to.
Right.
The expression does not apply to stones, to inanimate objects. That expression basically is applied where there are, in quotes, living things or living beings.
Right.
So in that case, when that expression incarnate or incarnation is used, this incarnation is like a noun. What's the picture that arises between us is the manifestation or the coming into being at a particular point in time.
Right.
So when that is considered the coming into being at a particular point in time, then the question will then be, what is it that came into being here on earth at a particular point in time? From that point of view, maybe one can then build up clarity in a step-by-step fashion.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Gregory. Yeah, I got that you're talking about living beings coming to manifestation, into manifestation at a particular point in time. And just to be more, let's say, more specific on that, a little bit extra specific, we are talking manifesting on the earth or manifesting elsewhere. Do we mean anything, any location?
One stressed the manifestation here on earth.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Okay, yeah, okay, good. Yes, I thought that I didn't hear that, so thank you for that. Okay, and so the next question on that is, what is it that is manifesting? We said living beings. So we mean human beings and other beings as well?
Well, when one uses the word human being, it already means it is human. There is a being in human form that incarnates. That means that now makes its presence felt using the capabilities that nature has granted it. That being has now taken on a form here on earth.
Okay. So yes, on earth. And I'm just trying, I would just still, let's keep talking a little bit generally as well still, and then, go more deeply into things. Let's talk, so animals also, Gregory, are they also incarnating? When we talked just now about human beings, they're also living beings, aren't they?
Yes. Animals also incarnate. That means they take on a form which is particular to a specific type of the animistic.
Okay, so yes, so that's another species. You can talk about that. And now, Gregory, what about plants? Because we consider plants, or some people consider plants to be living beings as well. So at least they're part of nature, that much we know. So are they also incarnating?
One may not categorize plants to be incarnating, for that which is referred to have incarnated is independent of a fixed spot.
Okay, that's good actually. That's so again we are bringing clarity into this definition of incarnation. So far we know animals and human beings are incarnating and live in a form on the physical, on this earth, but the plants are not considered to be incarnating because they're fixed to a particular location on this earth rather than mobile like we are and animals are. So that's a good, so we now have that clarity there. Now, let me think more on that, Gregory. So okay, so Gregory, what is incarnating then? Because you said with the animals, you said the animistic there, and so with the human beings, what is actually incarnating with regards to human beings?
Whether it is human beings or of animals, it is that which is non-earthly, which takes on form. That which is non-earthly that takes on a specific form, that form be of the animistic or being of the spirit, that core is referred to as the soul.
Right. Okay. Now, Gregory, we talked about, mentioned this word manifestation or manifesting, and it's in my head. I'm just wondering because we know we human beings. Let's say we are born, or let's say just talk about myself. I'm born from my parents, and they're born from their parents, and so on and so on. So, and when I look at that, and I'm thinking, that is how I've come here, and every human being is like come through this way. So, and in my head, I don't think of it as a manifestation. So, it almost when we talk about incarnation or manifestation here, I'm thinking, is there something else that we're talking about here? I know it sounds a bit crazy because you normally don't hear anything like that. We don't wave a magic wand and boom, so we appear, a human being appears or animal appears. So just to be clear on that. So in this incarnation, what about is that involving birth and so on? Shall we go through the process of incarnation?
Well, one had stressed that which manifests itself is of the soul. For the soul to manifest, it needs the tool or the vehicle to make itself known, such that it can experience here on earth. Without that tool which is now referred to as the physical body, which you and I can easily recognize, that soul is unable to manifest.
The tool is unable to manifest. I just trying to get that. Okay.
Without the tool of the physical body, the soul is unable to make itself known.
Okay. Right. So it is the soul that is making itself known through incarnation. That's I'm getting that now. Okay.
It is the soul that makes itself perceptible or known through the tool which nature has granted it. That tool is the physical body here on earth.
Right. And just looking at that again, Gregory, about that. So when and what so the tool is the body that we are using to be existing on this earth or manifesting on this earth. Now, what I want to ask there, Gregory, in let's say most cases we don't seem to be aware of that. That there's something. It is the soul that is manifesting on the earth, because let's say in our day-to-day life, we have the parents, the children, and the family, and so on, and then we live our life, from child to adulthood, our life on earth, and somehow this knowledge and even appreciation, let's call it, of the soul living on this earth and manifesting on the earth is not really, how can I say, we're not really aware of it in most cases.
That in itself is not a fact.
Okay.
For children at a very tender age, until about age 5, they themselves are aware of this, but the knowledge of it wanes as time proceeds. When a child incarnates, it first has to make use or to take control to understand the tool which has been granted it. That already tells you that, sorry, there's so much noise in the background.
Oh, Okay, apologies, I didn't know that. Okay, I will make sure this, I'll keep silent.
Yeah. When a child is born, within the first few months or first few years, first it needs to understand how to make use of the body, and then has to learn the language of its parents.
Okay, yes. So that's, yes, I agreed, because, I mean, it doesn't even speak in a way. It's more, the child, baby, is always, trying to make his words, but obviously it's burbling or something like that. And then, yes, it has to learn, as you said, the parents' language to communicate. So, yes, so there is that point. That's true.
And again, you do find in some children who are supposed to be autistic, and when subsequently these children have the opportunity to express their talents, you find without having learned in any school, they are able seamlessly to express such profound skills, maybe in the case of music or in the case of drawing or something. Then you must ask yourself, from where did these talents come? After all, these expressions of talents were not taught in school.
Thank you so much for that picture and answer there, Gregory. Yes, because we know that, or let's say people suspect that some talent or something has been inherited, or, well, they're speculating basically, but it doesn't look that way, because these children can be more talented than their parents. So, yeah, like child prodigies, So I won't go further just now. Just want to let listeners know that you are listening to Bless Radio. This is the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdushin. And if you're interested in knowing more about the Grail message, you can, or want to get a copy of the Grail message, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. Incarnation and Rebirth. You can join in the discussion with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 07939 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we're broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, the number 1.com. Also, you can listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, again the number 1, space live stream. And thirdly, you can listen to us, before I say that about the third place, you can also listen to a recording of this show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1, space, Grail, message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows as well, again on YouTube. Now, thirdly, we are also broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1, the number 1. Now, Gregory, continuing from what you were saying about, children having talents, coming with talents, being born with talents, like, for example, child prodigies, which are, well known, and which you can't say are inherited from the parents, the talents like that. So it must, and they wouldn't have time to develop learning it here on the earth. So it must have come from already somewhere. So, Gregory, just talking about inheriting, then we know that one, certain qualities we are not inheriting from the parents, but we know, Gregory, we do get our bodies from our parents. The DNA, comes from the parents, the two parents, or at least in the most general cases that happens. And so let's just clarify on that, Gregory. What can we, when we are born, what qualities do we inherit, and what we do not inherit?
When a human personality incarnates, the tool that has been prepared for it, that tool is of the earth. So it inherits those things which make up the human personality, which makes up the human physical body. So it is the attributes, so-called DNA, which are inherited from the parent. There are some of these attributes which are dormant, and some are not so dormant, but it's able to take from the parent the physical attributes that form the composition of the physical body. Of the non-physical, these are attributes of the soul, of the spirit, which attributes are most likely to be the virtues or the non-virtues, the strengths of these virtues or the weaknesses of these virtues. These are not inherited, but these have come to be through the laws in creation, which may be referred to as the attraction of homogeneity. So those non-physical attributes belong to the soul. The incarnating personality only came towards the parents because of an attraction of homogeneity, whereas that which is of the body, they have inherited.
Thank you again. Oh, Gregory, thank you for that. I was just thinking, you know, obviously the parents, in most cases, the parents bring up the child, and you know, and the child learns, you could say, certain personality traits, maybe having some personality traits, and maybe the character, you know, built up from the parents, the way they bring up the child. So I'm wondering, Gregory, so when a personality is incarnating as a child, you know, to the parents, is there any thing that, you know, connecting that to the parents? You know, they say like attracts like, you know, and so I just want to find out, is there some things that are learned in the, as bringing up as a child, so, like in terms of personality, and and or is there some things that you bring with you, and or you know, or it's like a combination of both, you know, so you come with a personality, with a character already, or you have some blank slate, and you learn with the family that you're growing in.
Each personality is unique. However, through the activities of the personality, that particular personality may have similar attributes to another, and in accordance with the laws of creation, those of similar attributes, they come together. It is that which is perceived, and sometimes many then say these things are inherited. There is no inheritance in that. The inherited features are only, in all naturalness, of the physical body. However, the character, that character which belongs uniquely to the incarnating personality, that character is, or that characteristic is of the soul. And it is that which brings that soul, or that which attracts that soul to the parents. It could be the father or the mother or someone around the family that is able to act as a point of attraction.
Thank you again, Gregory, for this answer. We're slowly building up a picture now of, you could say, the journey of the soul on the earth, to the earth, and how, you know, some qualities or characteristics are of the soul, are, you know, it carries with it, and then on the earth, when it arrives, incarnates on the earth, as we've said, it all, and the family that it lives with, it, you know, gets some qualities from them too, and of course there's a attraction, as you've mentioned already, or the law of attraction of homogeneous species, as it is said in the Grail message, that is there, bringing the child, the spirit, sorry, or soul, you should use the word soul, to this earth. In fact, I just mentioned the word spirit there, and I'd like to get clarity on that now. So, is the soul also a spirit?
That which is reflected as the soul is the human spirit, or is the spirit, which has taken on different coverings, minus covering of the physical body here on earth. So that which makes use of the physical body with the covering that are attached to it, that is of spirit. When the spirit severs itself, it still has some fine coverings. At that point, that personality is called a human soul.
Thank you for that, Gregory. Now, I'm just thinking, we use the word manifestation of the soul on this earth. That's what incarnation is. But in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, is that, let's say, a full expression of the soul, full activity of the soul manifesting on this earth, or is it partially? Is what I'm pointing to, Gregory. Sometime in my head I'm thinking maybe the soul is actually still in the beyond, and it's just like slightly a part has descended into this earth in the body, and so its part is not on the earth, and so it's only a partial manifestation is taking place on this earth of the soul, and then there's still a part of the soul left, I say beyond, or where it is originating from. So can you just clarify that, Gregory? So
From your discussion, one should make a separation between the tool and the personality that makes use of the tool. Here we are in our discussion. You yourself make use of the tool to communicate with others and myself. You yourself are not the tool. However, in our discussion, you are able to impress on the tool. The tool is able to transmit or translate these impressions through the tool to be broadcast over distances or over very short distances, and others are able to see or to hear. There is a separation between the personality that makes use of this tool and the tool itself. The tool is only able to transmit waves, which waves is what has an impact on the wider environment. So one cannot say it is partial. The soul is completely different from the tool that it uses. For the soul is alive, and the tool, strictly speaking, is not alive. For when the soul, which is the covering of the spirit, when it withdraws, the tool falls prostrate and is unable of its own accord to pass on any information. So one must understand or strive to understand, on the one hand, there is the physical body, which is the tool. On the other hand, there is the soul, which makes use of the physical body, albeit of the five senses that is granted to communicate or to manifest. There are many a soul which do not have the physical body. And because they do not have the physical body, that means they are unable to interact using the five senses which nature grants. So they are unable to communicate with us using our physical body. In that case, you find for one who is highly intellectual, who is unable to open his or her intuition, that personality is unable to communicate with those that lack the physical body.
Thanks a lot.
You're on mute.
Apologies. Sorry, I was unmuted, listeners. Yes, thank you, Gregory, for that answer and explanation you've given. We are now getting a bigger picture, of how the soul is operating on this earth. We've used the word communication, with all the tool, which is the body that we have, and our five senses on the earth, how we are able to operate. But the operator is the soul. That's what we've talked about here. And earlier on, I was saying, Gregory, most of us are not really aware of the existence of the soul. Although you said some children do, seem to be aware. But obviously this, let's say it's a rare thing. I would say in most cases, people are not really conscious of that. We talk about it, the word soul, but let's say it's a very hazy conception rather than a clear one, which is what we are, the aim of this show is to bring that clarity. Now, Gregory, I want to go into the purpose, of incarnation. We know about our earth life in terms of the day-to-day things, but what's the broader purpose of incarnating on the earth?
The human personality incarnates on the earth in order to experience of the interaction within the earthly environment, and also other fellow human souls or human personalities, to exchange within them their impressions here on earth, So the human personality only incarnates on the earth in order to experience and know of the experiences which abound here in the earthly.
Thank you for that, Gregory. Now, just want to I started the program, Gregory, mentioning about the Queen's funeral, Queen Elizabeth's funeral, and people sort of, well, there were two things there. Some are there was, let's say, mourning or grief, and there was happiness as well at her life. And but then I mentioned, Gregory, what do they really know about what's happening next? They have their own, let's say, story of it, or some idea about it, but really it's just, and it's even some tradition, you can say. They say rest in peace, or she will rejoin her husband in this next part of her life. But really, it's how can I say? It's a mystery. And I know we're talking about incarnation, but after we know when we are on this earth, the next part so that is a birth on the earth, and we have a life on the earth, and then of course it's followed by a death. So now, you mentioned the incarnation was the soul coming to this earth. So what happens really at death then?
Very simply, at the so-called death, that becomes the separation of the physical body from the soul. The soul moves away, and then, because it was the soul that animated the physical body, when the soul then moves away, the physical body becomes prostrate. Even when someone is asleep, there is a slight detachment of the soul from the physical. What one has found pondering, or one cannot explain, many are worried. What happens at the point of death, or what happens after death? Whereas they were born to the earth, that means they took the physical body. The questions which every human personality must ask themselves: where were they before they incarnated? Once they have investigated deep within them, within their intuition, then clarity gradually will set in. For many who incarnate, all human personality on earth were born, means they incarnated. For incarnation, where were they? If they then strive to find a solution where they were before incarnation, then it becomes very natural when the physical body is now dropped. Now becomes very natural to them to know that they will be in similar environments that they were before they took the restriction of the physical body. In that case, the fear which is attached to so-called death will vanish. For only him or her who has a good grasp of the past, before an incarnation, will understand to some extent the purpose of life on earth and the purpose of life after the departure from the earth plane.
Thank you for that answer, Gregory, and the picture you're painting again. I've received a question from a listener. They're asking, does the soul leave the body at night to experience other dimensions? And then there's another follow-up question. What is the reason for this? So the question is, does the soul leave the body at night to experience other dimensions? And if so, what is the reason for this?
The soul is still in connection with the physical body when the body at rest at night. It is only that there is partial detachment, not complete detachment, because it is told through its intrinsic activities that animates the body. So when such a question comes in, it is not as if the soul goes too far away. What happens in reality is that there is partial loosening. For were the soul to go that far away, the likelihood is that there could be a severity of the cord that links the soul to the physical body. So it is not that, someone has now gone to the moon to experience or to the sun to experience, and many people just use the words other dimensions. The question they should ask themselves, what do they understand by these other dimensions? For these expressions are used to mean that which is non-earthly. So it is not that you have arbitrary activity where the body can be left and the soul just travels and there is no connection. That is not what happens. There must still be some connection. Which connection brings back these soul after its experiences that it experiences in other dimensions or other areas doesn't mean it has to travel very far. As you can well verify, here we are, even here on Earth, everyone watched the TV programs in their houses, in their homes, of the funeral of Queen Elizabeth. They didn't have to have gone to London or been in the UK. There are so many who could be in outer space and also watch it. However, there were devices, which devices were able to carry those fine vibrations, and through some other instruments, one was able, to some extent, to perceive of this happening. So, in the case, as you have tonight, because there is some slight detachment, the activities of the brain and the physical body are minimized. And this minimized, there is less distortion of the experiences of its vibration, such that it's able to open up and pick up those fine vibrations that streams through creation. That impacting on the soul is able to experience. But don't forget, immediately the physical body becomes animated again, most of these fine experiences are forgotten.
Thanks so much, Gregory, for that answer and illustration and picture that you've painted again about, what happens to the soul, at night, or you can say even dreaming, and, that people say they just have some ideas, but not really a clear picture about it. But now we can explain that. So thank you for that. Dear listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. It's a Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdrushing. And if you're interested in knowing more about the Grail message, or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we're broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, the number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, again the number 1, space live stream. That's for the live show. You can listen to the recording of the show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, again the number 1, space Grail message, space the topic of the show, which tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. And of course, you can listen to our recordings of our previous shows as well, also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno. Go to and Zeno, I'll spell that fully for you. That's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1. Again, the number 1. Now, Gregory, before we move on to the topic of rebirth, because we've been talking about incarnation so far, there was one meaning of the word incarnation that I hadn't yet, put out there yet, and I want to bring it up now. It says here, this is in the dictionary meaning, the meaning of incarnation, one of the meanings, I should say. It says the union of divinity with humanity in Jesus Christ. Or let me put it before I say that's an example they've given. They said the embodiment of a deity or spirit in some earthly form. And they give another way of giving that meaning again. A person who embodies in the flesh a deity, spirit, or even the word used quality. And the example they gave is the union of divinity with humanity in Jesus Christ. So, really, first of all, is that an incarnation? How Jesus came onto the earth, which is they're saying a union of divinity with humanity.
One can already find authentication on that definition which you mentioned. Of course, there is a union. The union between that which is physical with that which is non-physical. In that union, there are connections, there are vibrations. These vibrations, if they harmonize, then that which is non-physical is able to send signals to that which is physical. A very simple example. There you are, and the phone, or whatever device you are using, whatever tool, to impress on that tool, which tool then takes that impression and transmits it. So, what to prepare? For the person who is doing the talking and the tool that is used. In the discussion, one had mentioned that when incarnation is discussed, one may refer to, in the first instance, the incarnation of the animal. That means the union of the core, of the soul of the animal to that which is physical. So one may refer to that which is of spirit, which, having its covers, is also able to make use of the physical body. One may also call that a union. One may also say, outside of the spiritual, above the spiritual, is divinity. In that case, divinity takes as a covering the spirit. The spirit has covering, and finally is able to unite in order to resonate through its vibrations and animate the physical body. So, using a straight line, one can see how one activates another and activates another until it comes to the physical body. One should stop using Christ as an everyday example where they themselves want to seek divinity. For the knowledge that Christ mediated, from the knowledge itself, one is able to recognize, if one has the capability to recognize where that knowledge originated from. Or, like he said, by their works we shall know them. That also applies to him. That also applies to all that is in creation. That also means that the human personality, through his or her works, they reveal whom they are, or they reveal what they try to be or are striving to be.
Thanks again, Gregory, for this answer. Yes, people, maybe you could say connect 2 and 2 and get 3, or, as going beyond their, going into their imagination to, trying to, so too far, let's say, in trying to understand these things. But because it is out there, I just thought people think this way. I thought it was good to just, go into it. Now, what I'll do now, I think I'm going to ask one more question about incarnation. Well, this is actually about death, if I'm right, really. Let me think about that. Let me just be clear about this. Yeah. No, I'm going to actually, let me go straight into rebirth now, and then we can just bring other things up as we go. So, Gregory, as usual, like I say, I look in the dictionary for the meaning of the words, and so rebirth, I looked that up in the dictionary, and it gave me two meanings here. First one, it says the process of being reincarnated or born again. And then they said rebirth in another meaning, second meaning, a period of new life, growth or activity, a revival. So what I'll ask you, Gregory, which one are we, first of all, are there appropriate definitions, and is there one that is more suitable for our discussion?
Both are appropriate, but as usual, there are limitations. Words or expressions are used, but the picture which many a person takes away now depends on the state of maturity of that personality. So one may hear of reincarnation, one may hear of rebirth, but one should never forget that in accordance with the creation laws, a human personality will incarnate as a human personality, which one may now refer to as rebirth. So one should not consider that when rebirth or reincarnation is mentioned, we now have that which is of a different species. For example, that which is of an animistic, we now reincarnate as a human personality. That is not the case. So, in accordance with homogeneity, one has in reincarnation or rebirth, that which is human will reincarnate or will be reborn as a human, whereas that which is of animistic will be reborn to use the animal body.
Thanks for that, Gregory. You know, we hear about reincarnation a lot from the, you could say, the Eastern beliefs or religions like Hinduism and Buddhism and so on. And in there, they also mention karma, cause and effect. So is this rebirth or reincarnation of the soul, because that's what we're talking about, back on the earth, are we talking, it is the reason for that rebirth or reincarnation is to redeem the sins of the past life? Is that the reason?
It may not necessarily be so, for when the human personality returns to the earth to experience, it is to purify and also to enhance its experiences. If the experiences in their past incarnation, if that which they themselves had initiated to come into being, then if in that particular scenario, what they had initiated is not of benefit in accordance with the laws of creation, they themselves need to experience of this and to make good that which they had initiated, which brought devastation into creation. For with such initiation of activities, threads were woven, which threads are still connected to this personality. And until they themselves come to the realization of that which they themselves have woven and then untied, the possibility is there that they keep coming and coming and coming until they realize. So that is one possibility. The other possibility is that you have the scenario in which the human personality, having come here initially to experience, needed to come again to expand its experiences to further mature. In that case, through the grace granted it, this grace which are in accordance, which resonate with the will of the Almighty, the will of the Almighty which had been hewn into creation as the creation laws, or in nature as the natural laws. This human personality now comes to the earth to further experience, but above all, in experiencing, these human personality are able to perceive of the streams, which streams are in creation, which streams have been initiated from the higher realms of paradise and beyond. And in making use of these intuitive streams, strive to ensure that there is beauty and harmony which will be of benefit to all. That, strictly speaking, is the purpose of the existence of the human spirit For it has been granted the capabilities to make it in such a place that when whatever realm they are able to ennoble, to draw out of these streams, to ensure that that which they have perceived intuitively, which is of beauty and harmony, is also made manifest within the realms where they experience, also, albeit here on earth.
Thank you so much for this answer, Gregory, and the picture you painted again there. It's much wider than probably most of us think. That we think everything about ourselves. Oh, I did this, I need to redeem that, or it's very personal what we might think about this reincarnation, but actually there's a greater purpose, for whole humanity even. And it's not about the life on the earth here alone. It's connecting with this world from where we originate. This, you could call it the spiritual world, connecting with that on the earth. So, but I will say again, most people, I would say, have no, let's say, idea about that. And yet that is part of the purpose of our life on earth. So thank you for bringing that out. Now, Gregory, we've said it in the past many times as well. The idea is we started as a human spirit, spirit seed or germ, unconscious spirit germ, in paradise, in the spiritual world, on our journey of development, and then that took us down through, let's say, to the earth without going into all the steps, and to mature, through, and reincarnation is meant to be a continuation of our maturing. And now we know obviously one life is not sufficient to achieve that. So Gregory, how many lives do we need? Can we just keep coming back here, over and over until we achieve the maturity we need to return to as a mature spirit? Because we have said it in the past, the aim is to become a mature, self-conscious spirit, but back into the spiritual. Do we just keep getting reincarnated over and over as much as we need to, and redeem all, and also there is still a redemption part of our life for all the evil that we have done, to redeem that. So until we have redeemed everything, Gregory, and developed ourselves fully, is that which may require, let's say, a serious, quite a number of lives. Only then can we return to the spiritual.
One must start to understand that the human personality that wishes to come to realization, to maturity, human personality, striving after self-consciousness, has to leave its quality as a man. And going down to the world,
Sorry, Gregory, you're going in and out again. So just if you can speak louder, or just I don't know, there's some connection issue, I guess.
the human personality that left paradise as an unconscious spirit gem came down to the world of matter. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's clear now. Everything's clear.
In that particular case, the world of matter, in accordance with the laws of creation, is temporal. It means it comes into being, it grows, matures, and subsequently disintegrates to its primeval substances. Within that period, within that space of time, or within that time, the human spirit is granted the opportunity to experience within the world of matter. If, however, it is unable to attain to that maturity before the world of matter, or that particular area in the world of matter goes back or disintegrates to its primeval substances, it only means the human personality that is tied to that part will also undergo or experience the disintegration of the world of matter. In that case, that structure which it had cultivated will also fall apart, and the human personality will then undergo disintegration. So it is tied to the experiences it has in the world of matter. Whereas those who have been able to attain to self-consciousness would have departed from that part of the world of matter that undergoes disintegration. The question which many ask is, how many times will the human personality have been granted the chance or the opportunities to experience in the world of matter? As many opportunities are granted to it, but the laws of creation or the laws of nature, which made it possible to have the laws which operate within the world of matter, these laws do not change. So adequate time and energy and adequate opportunities are granted to the human personality to mature within that space of time. Whether they then make use of it to mature in accordance with the laws of creation, that is then left to the human spirit. For those who strive to know how to be, how to live in the world of matter, whose task has always been that they, the budding human spirit, maturing human spirit, are able to draw of the streams in creation to ennoble that sphere in which they are to experience. In fulfilling that ennoblement, they mature, for they have received of the goodness and have made use of the goodness and have transmitted of the goodness to the environment and those within or around them. That is the task of life. For the one who is unable to fulfill that task, in order to bring peace and harmony in the world of matter, having wasted their time, then the features which they have cultivated must be counted as no good and will have to undergo disintegration of the form which they themselves have built for themselves. So the number of times becomes immaterial. The task which the human personality needs to perform is what counts. So he or she who receives of the opportunities and the goodness from Allah of creation will make use of these. And in making use of these, will also spread it, pass it on. That is the unique task of the human spirit. No others. To enhance, to ensure this happens, the virtues have been passed on through the human spirit to cultivate. Only through such is the human spirit able to fulfill its task.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for this answer and picture again. We are expanding and building our understanding. What is this, our life? We are aware of the earth life, but there's a bigger, let's say, that is only part of the story. And and the other part even can be bigger, which we don't even notice it or aware of it. So yes, so thank you for that. Before I carry on further, I just want to remind the listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdushin. And if you're interested in knowing more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. Incarnation and Rebirth. You are welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, the number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, again the number 1, space, live stream. That's for the live show. You can listen to the recording of this show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1, again, space, Grail, message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is Incarnation and Rebirth. And of course, you can listen to our previous recording shows of our previous shows, the recording of the previous shows, also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno, and that is ZENO, NO.FM/blessradio1. Again, the number 1. Now, Gregory, this rebirth is such an interesting topic, really. Again, Gregory, I keep saying we are not aware. Let's say it is, if we are aware, it's on the unconscious level. Now, one thing, Gregory, we can pretty much say very confidently for majority of us, we don't ever remember our previous life. And yet we are supposed to have been there before on this earth a number of times, but we don't know. Well, we don't have the memory, it seems, of the previous life. So, first of all, why is that?
In your question lies the answer. You do not have the memory. Extra memory. Is an incarnate.
Sorry, Gregory, can you just speak up again? It's just a little bit low, the voice.
The stress is here that in your question lies the answer. You yourself said you don't have the memory. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's now clear, very clear.
You do not have the memory because memory recordings starts with an incarnation, whereas in the past, before an incarnation, lessons or impressions can only be grasped only through one's intuitive perceptions. These impressions about past earth life and other wanderings in other spheres in creation, these communications come only via one's intuitive perception. So in the specific case, where the impressions of the intuitive perceptions have been dulled, have been suppressed, then it would not have an impact on one's memory. By memory, one is referring to the intellect, which is used for earthly things. That is why there is no strong registration of these activities in the frontal brain, which one refers to as the memory. However, for the human personality, who is more intuitive, then the impressions that come from one's intuition are able to be made use of for further upbuilding.
Gregory, I've in regard to this, following on from this last question about memory of the previous lives, I've received a question which came earlier on, but I thought it's now appropriate to ask it at this time. The question is, can dreams provide any clues as to past reincarnations? There's a bit of, I'll read the whole thing and then we can break it down. So can dreams provide any clues to past reincarnations? How does one tell? Also, how does one tell in the context of photographs or movies, stories from the respective eras with conviction? I think that's a completely separate question there. So just to repeat to Gregory, can dreams provide any clues as to past reincarnations?
Of course, dreams can. However, the challenge always is there are impressions which impressions assail the personality. The challenge here, how does that personality grasp or understand these impressions which are assailing it? That is the big challenge. For even when evidence is provided, creation provides the evidence again and again. Many even reject these evidences which has been provided. Consider a personality in his or her day-to-day activities and comes across some impression, something somewhere, and he thinks, or he or she thinks, oh, I don't understand this. Of course, you can't understand it because one is trying to find a solution to this intellectually. If one strives gradually, again and again, to have a holistic, intuitive picture of events, of happenings in creation, then gradually that personality matures to such a state where impressions that come from dreams, impressions that come along every day, he or she is able to put them together and build a picture for itself, not for another person. That means the human personality is now able to put the picture together using the impressions that are assailing. In that case, gradually, he or she will now understand to a large extent that these pictures, these impressions, which assail it, will help it to unfold of the virtues, which virtues have always been dormant, which virtues wish to be cultivated. These impressions could be that of compassion, could be that of humility, of faithfulness, of courage and selflessness, of diligence. These are the things which are then triggered within the human personality to cultivate, to mature, to refine of itself. Many consider that once they wish to mature and develop themselves, immediately only sweet roads, flowery roads are laid before it, not knowing that there will be some reciprocal activity which has their roots in the past earth life, or some activity which are supposed to help to initiate some refinement. When these activities abound, many quickly lose hope and consider that they are doing the wrong thing, whereas that is never the case. Creation or nature will return to the human personality that which he or she needs in order to cultivate the virtues which are necessary for it to mature in accordance with creation laws, in accordance with the natural laws. Then, when it has, during its sojourn here on earth, when it has cultivated these virtues, then it is able, using these virtues, to draw the strings in nature, in creation, to draw these streams to ennoble itself and its surroundings. Then it is he or she who has received, has made use of that which has been passed on to it to ennoble itself, and has also passed it on to others who may not be as matured as himself or herself to ennoble themselves. In that scenario, every challenge is then welcome.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for this answer to the listener's question. I hope, listener, that helps you to. It is give you enough answer there to reflect on what has been said here. What I'm noticing, Gregory, with the questions, not to criticize anybody, but I can even say criticize my own questions when I ask them. Sometimes the questions are coming, let's say, from the intellectual point of view rather than the spiritual point of view. But that's like understandable because that's the world we live in, and that's what we. But really, this show and the aim of the show is to make us to look at things spiritually and have the spiritual goal, just like you said, Gregory, about developing our virtues and using those virtues to drive us into the spiritual goal of our earth, our goal, spiritual goal. And so sometimes we will have an intellectual question, for example, why can't I remember my previous earth life, previous reincarnation, so, but then we can also ask, okay, if that is the case, there's a reason behind it, right? So, of course, you can explain it in a scientific way or explain why that is the case, but then we don't have that memory. Yet there's also, we know that we have to sense with our spirit these things, these matters. The question has to be answered from the spiritual, from within us. So maybe we don't need to know, we can answer like that. Just reflecting ourselves on these points, and then...
May I say something?
Sure.
Whatever the question is, it should trigger a spiritual response to a bigger and finer picture, such that the human personality becomes aware of that which looks ordinary, which is ordinary. So, do we need to know? Of course we need to know. But the we, that is the human spirit, not the intellect. The intellect may be aware of the enormous fear.
Oh, Gregory, sorry. Again, you're fading out. Please just speak up again.
Like I stressed, do we need to know?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now it's clear.
Of course, we need to know. The we that is referring to here is the I, which is the human personality of the spirit. However, the intellect, which only recognizes parts of these experiences, cannot articulate all the different parts. And the little it can articulate, it makes use of. Whereas that which is of spirit, that is what needs to know of these experiences and awaken to these experiences through the laws of nature, the laws of creation. The spirit takes it in, but the frontal brain, of which one refers to as the memory, is silent.
Thank you, Gregory. I've received a couple more questions a while ago again, which, Gregory, you have actually answered them, but I will just say it briefly. One, it says, it's from the listener who already asked a question earlier, and that says, can people incarnate as animals as the Buddhist religion teaches? So I'll just respond to that. You said already, Gregory, that no, that doesn't happen, because I would say it in a simple way: you can't change your species. You are human. As a human being, you are human, and you can only come back reincarnate as a human. So there's no way you can change to another species like animal. And and the other question was, are there other worlds in the universe that the human spirit can experience and incarnate into? So I'll leave that to you, Gregory. Are there other worlds in the universe that the human spirit can experience and incarnate into?
Of course, there are other worlds, but one will not use the word incarnate into. Or the word incarnate is local. In the case where the human soul needs to use the physical body, needs to use the instrument, which we refer to the physical body, to experience. And that is why here on earth, the human personality comes as a child, is born as a child, and takes on the physical body. In the non-earthly, you do not have that the man and the woman coming together to produce a physical body in other parts of the universe. That is only possible here in the world of matter. In the higher realms, that is not the case. So one may not use that expression to incarnate, for the picture which is formed by that word to incarnate gives the very strong impression of one coming as a child to make use of the physical body which has been prepared for it, such that it will make use of it and grow. And after some time, when it has finished its activities here in the physical, it drops it. That is not the case in other higher realms. And that is why one can't use the word one is going to incarnate, say, in paradise, or incarnate in the animistic, or incarnate in a different part of paradise.
Thank you very much, Gregory. We've come to the end of the show, listeners. Hope you enjoyed this lovely topic of incarnation and rebirth. Actually, I just want to let you know that the topic was inspired by an essay which is given in the book A Gate Opens, written by Herbert Folman. It's also a Grail book, actually, and we mentioned it before. And if you are interested in, looking at that book as well, you can, again, just the same as the Grail message, you can go to the same website, which is www.grailmessage.com. If you want to pick up that book there as well, you can do that. And this book, Gate Opens, just to give you a bit of background, is let's say based on the Grail message. Is the writer has gained from the knowledge of the Grail message and wanted to share his deep understanding from the Grail message with people, and that's why he wrote this book, Grail, Gate Opens. Now, as usual, listeners, I like to read from the foreword of the Grail message, In the Light of Truth, by Abrushin, and the foreword is titled, For Your Guidance. The bandage falls, and belief becomes conviction. Liberation and redemption lie only in conviction. I'm addressing earnest seekers only. They must be able and willing to examine this matter objectively. Religious fanatics and irresponsible enthusiasts may hold aloof, for they are detrimental to the truth. As for the malevolent and prejudiced, they shall find their sentence in the very words. The message will strike only those who still carry within them a spark of truth and the yearning to be true human beings. To all such it will become the shining light and staff. It will lead them unswervingly out of all the chaos of the present-day confusion. The following word does not bring a new religion, but is intended as the torch to help all serious listeners or readers find the right path, which leads them to the longed-for height. Only he who bestirs himself can advance spiritually. The fool who uses extraneous aids for this, in the form of ready-made opinions of others, only walks his path as if on crutches, while ignoring his own healthy limbs. But the moment he boldly uses all the abilities which lie dormant within him, awaiting his call to help in his ascent, he is employing the talent entrusted to him in accordance with his Creator's will, and will easily overcome all obstacles that seek to divert him. Therefore, awake. Genuine faith lies only in conviction, and conviction comes solely through an inflexible weighing and examining. See that you're truly alive in the wonderful creation of your God. Abrushin. So, dear listeners, that was a reading from For Your Guidance, which is in the foreword of the Grail message. Hope you, as I said, remind you listeners, I hope you liked our topic tonight of Incarnation and Rebirth. We'll be back as usual next Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time, with another topic. Gregory, is there anything you'd like to say to the listeners to say goodbye?
Wishing everyone a beautiful week.
Same from me, listeners. Have a great week. God bless. Good night.